my last topic of the night, that really just rubbed me the wrong way in a lot of different ways is the fact of this whole Reggie Bush thing. And I wanted to make sure that before I brought it to you that I got all of the details that I could gather and I understood exactly what was going on and I understand the predicament of what was happening. Okay, because like I said, I come on here, give y'all some tea, give y'all some opinions, but I also like to give y'all some facts. I don't want to come on here without knowing all of the facts because I like to keep my credibility. Okay, get into it. Now, Reggie Bush, he did get his Heisman back. So I want to put that out. He gets his Heisman back, and then after he gets his Heisman back, he decides, oh no, I'm not done with y'all. I still got beef with y'all. I'm coming for it all, and now I am suing USC. University of Southern California, PAC-12, and the NCAA for his name, image, and likeliness compensation that he feels that he is owed and due. I'm going to give a disclaimer before I go all into it. I'm not saying that he should not get paid for his NIL. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying he should just be grateful that he got his Heisman back. I'm not saying that at all either. What I'm saying is we cannot say that he was not compensated because when I did more research and into it, I'm about to get into it with y'all, it is making me raise an eye, say, Reggie, are you sure that this is the fight that you want to fight? Okay, granted, he is one of the greatest college athletes of all time and NFL athletes of all time. We know what he's done. We know the impact that he's had, and rightfully so. During the time when he was in school, he went in the early 2000s. There were no such thing as NIL deals or money. You were essentially getting paid. You were getting paid under the table. How you do it, putting the money in the McDonald's bag and say, here is your meal for the day, and you open it up, you got money, you got gifts, watches, cars, you got compensated in other ways. They felt as though that they could compensate you because they've been new that athletes needed to get paid and they deserve to have some type of compensation. So I'm going to read the facts that I found. So he lost his Heisman due to breaking rules and receiving impermissible gifts. Him and his family received gifts and benefits while he was at USC. So like they said, money, they said gifts and other things that he received, him and his family. Okay, he won the Heisman in 2005, and then he was forfeited of it in 2010 when they did the investigation and found out that he did break the rules because at the time you are not supposed to be getting paid or receiving gifts or receiving anything while you were in school because they wanted to keep the amateurism of football. And I kind of think, where it is now, I feel like NIL is kind of ruining college sports a little bit. I do feel like you do need to have some type of amateurism there. I just feel like they could have done it a much better way. It's like now players not even going to different schools. They stop playing because they're like, I want this certain amount of money. I want this. It's like now it's all about money and the value that you can get and less about the actual sport and doing what you love. But I have already gotten to that. And I feel the way that I feel. Nobody's going to be able to change my mind per se. And like I'm saying, I'm not saying they should not get paid for what they do. I'm not saying that at all. But I think there should have been a different methodology and a different way that it was done. So that way it could be a little bit more fair across all boards because not all students are actually getting paid for their name, image, and likeness because they probably don't have it as much. But moving on from that. In 2021, April of 2021, he did receive his Heisman back. The Heisman Trust, which is a completely different entity from the NCAA, looked at it and was like, okay, well, since the NCAA and the Supreme Court ruled that students should be getting paid for NIL, they was like, okay, well, since he was getting paid for it anyway, and now that it's no longer breaking the rules, we can give him his Heisman back. He rightfully took that Heisman back. The Heisman portrait is now up in the Heisman House and all those other great things. Now, he is suing them for multiple reasons. The first is to stop using his NIL used for profit. He's saying that they're still using his name, image, and likeness to this day, and they're not paying him now. So he wants them to stop doing that. He wants to be able to do his own, PR stuff. And I agree. You shouldn't be using my name. You shouldn't be using me at all if you're not paying me in any way. So I do agree with that. You should be suing for that. And they should just stop using you. I didn't know that they were still using him. The only people I know now is, like Caleb Williams and things who have been, aspects of continuing their legacy and their history of USC football. So I didn't know that they were still using it, but if they are, I do agree that it should stop. He's also saying that he wants a share of the money that they made while he was there. And like I said before, they're making claims that they have used him so much and they have not given him not one penny. Currently, they might not be giving him one penny, and I think that just calls for a contract negotiation, maybe, or just to stop using him altogether. But he is a part of their history for football, so maybe you should do a contract, right? Now, what I don't really understand and I don't really agree is you're paying them for money that they have made back in 2000, between 2000 and I guess 2005 when you were there and he was playing. Would that not then reopen the can of worms, which got you to forfeit that Heisman in the first place? You know, are they going to have to now have to pull together their charts and things? It's like, well, technically, Reggie, we did pay you illegally. We paid you this amount of money. We made sure you had a car. Your mama had a car. We bought the house that your mama live in. Like all these other stuff. Like, is that not going to open up another can of biscuits to really say, like, you can't say we did not pay you because we paid you? But then also all the other players who played before NIL became a thing, are they going to now sue the NCAA and their universities and the conference? Like, I get it. I get it. You want your money, you want what's earned, what's due to you. But at the end of the day, like, if you look at it, they're not going to have any more money to give. The NCAA is going to be bled dry. Like, it's going to dissipate. And it's just like, I don't think that part of the lawsuit is right, because you've already made money. You maybe didn't make as much as you could have made, but you did make something, because they wouldn't have took your Heisman away if you didn't make anything, if you didn't break the rules back then, So it's kind of like, it's a sticky, icky situation, and I really don't like it. But I do agree with they should stop using him currently if they are, because if you're not paying him, then don't use him. But trying to sue for past work and things like that, like, how could you put a monetary, I don't know. Obviously, they must have kept records, and maybe they'll say, oh, well, we made this amount of him, this amount of him. But like I said before, they were giving him gifts and money and things like that. So they were paying him. They were paying him under the table in a McDonald's bag. And they made sure that his family was taken care of as well. So I'm going to keep my eyes on this to really see, how this turns out, how it goes, and if there's any new updates and things. Because that's really just one of those things. It's like, I don't know, Reggie. I don't know. I agree with half of this lawsuit. Half, okay? But I think that's going to be really interesting to see how that all comes about. I want to know, like, how many other athletes are going to try to sue. Maybe they'll wait and see what happens. Maybe they'll be like, okay, I'm going to wait and see. Because if it doesn't work out with Reggie, then it's probably not going to work out with me. And I won't even waste my time and money because you're going to have to pay them legal fees regardless, no matter which way. They may try to settle this out very hushly, but you never really know. You never really know how it's going to go. So I'm definitely going to keep tabs on that. And the last thing that I want to say